Let's, okay. Where's our, hi Vishnu. We need our secretary. Where is he? We know he knows. Let's see.
Susan.
Oh, Captain Trayer, good to see
Checks
you.
in the mail.
Oh, sure, Wally.
Or it will be tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, where's Ty? Hello, Ty.
I think Ty's busy with the Alabama-Georgia game. One eye on the computer and the other one on the TV.
Ah, oh, there he is. I see him. All right. Happy New Year, everyone. Good to see you all. Did I see Debbie Narvis someplace? Where are you? Just saw your name pop up. There
Yes,
you are.
you saw my name
Hey.
pop up.
Yeah. Hi,
Hey,
how are you?
Coach.
Good to see you.
I'm doing good, Coach. And you?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. So let's get started. It's about 4 after again already. All right. We have a pretty good group here. As long as our secretary is here and ready, then we can go. Minutes of the December meeting. Did everybody get their copy? Ty sent them out yesterday or the day before, sometime or other. They looked okay to me. Anybody have any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, then we will accept them as prepared. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan, Treasurer's Report.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So this is the Treasurer's Report for the month of December 2021. Our beginning balance on December 1st was $3,337.78. We had no income or expenses. So the ending balance on December 31st, 2021 was $3,337.78. And in our City of San Jose District 4 grant, the beginning balance December 1st, 2021 was $10,000, and there's no expenses or income on that. So the ending balance December 31st, 2021 was $10,000. So I want to remind everybody our 2022 annual membership due collection of $10 for the year has begun, and we hope and encourage everyone to support our community group, which in turn supports the entire Berryessa community. Your $10 membership donation enables our group, BCAC, to host and attend monthly meetings, support community-driven beautification, restoration, and quality of life projects that benefit us all. I'll gladly accept all membership dues and have posted my mailing information in tonight's meeting chat room. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we haven't started our project yet, so we'll be spending that money eventually. Okay. Police report, Captain Trayer, you are here tonight and you're on.
Yes, I am. My internet's being a little wonky.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everyone. It's great to see you. What a huge showing, and I love that about this group. So thank you for showing up. Hopefully you are all doing well. As we all see on TV and just from all of our lives, I'm sure we're all experiencing some different level of the COVID virus. And just know that as a police department, we're still here. We're working hard for you. We are definitely impacted. I'm still running the COVID program for the police department, and it's been just very busy for us. So we're taking care of our officers, our non-sworn individuals, and all of their families as best we can. And I just hope you're all doing okay, because I know it's stressful and it's scary and there's a lot of big question marks, but we're going to get through this, and just know that the police department is out here. We're working very hard. a couple things that I wanted to touch base on and just kind of hear how what you're seeing in the world today. But I think I mentioned the last meeting when I was looking at my notes about the shopping centers, and I'm still focusing on the shopping centers. But lately, we've been having since December the smash and grabs that have been happening throughout the city. And I want you to know, we take, of course, we take that very seriously. And I formed a group, kind of a coalition of all the heads of security for all of the big shopping centers. So like if you go to Oak Ridge, East Ridge, Santana Row, Valley Fair, Century Plaza, or Grand Century Mall, all the biggies, and then a couple smaller ones where I just happen to know people and invited them also. And we are nightly talking about things that happen to keep it safer for you when you go shopping. That combined with the officers being in the area, the walking beat officers and the patrol officers are trying to do their report writing in the parking lots around the malls when they can, and even shopping centers. So you might see them down at Capitol and Berryessa still. That is one of my walking beat areas still, because I think it's made a big impact on the type of things that are happening there, which is a good thing. So I want to bring that up because I don't want you to be afraid to shop, but I also want you to know the reality is it has happened. We had recently one at Story and King. And knowing the detectives that are on it, they're going to figure it out. They're working on those big cases like that. The big calls that happened between December and January in your area really were focused around the schools. So there is a lot of, and maybe Vishnu can vouch for me, but there's a lot of, not hysteria, but there's a lot of kids reporting that they're going to do things at schools like shootings and things like that. And our department, rightfully so, takes that very seriously. I have not seen them figure it out when we get those type of calls. They figure out who it is with the help of the administrators or with technology. And but you can imagine how much resources that takes. You know, it's multiple officers working on a case with the bureau, the detective bureau, and they're working very hard. And that has happened at all the schools in your area. All the schools really have had some form of threat where the officers respond out and figure out that they were fake threats. And we go even further. We go to the student's house. We talk to their parents. At times the parents will give up anything that could be dangerous, and they usually are very, very cooperative, as most parents are. But I bring that up because you do see it perhaps on TV, and I want you to know it's something that we've been working on and working very hard. I don't know. I wish I could see your hands if we were in a room, but if you've heard of Cherry Flat Dam before, has anybody heard of that? I'm sure Mr. Santos has, because he's up there. Yes. Well, I will tell you that I have lived here my whole life and I haven't heard about it, but I read a report that they asked me to read just about the dam in general, and I'm pretty educated on it now, and I've asked a lot of questions. And I'm looking someday to go up there. And Mr. Santos, I do have a 4-wheel drive, so maybe I can make it up there someday. But apparently you need that. But I wanted to know more about it once I realized it was there, and I wanted to make sure it was safe, right? As safe as it can be. And I wanted to know what is in place if that dam were to have problems, or if that area had a flood or that type of thing. And it looks like it's well thought out, but I also got to give my 2 cents of it. And I want you to know that was something I was very interested in knowing more about once I found out it was up there. And I imagine it's pretty cool, pretty beautiful if you've been up there or not. Yeah.
You're always welcome. Just call anytime. You don't have to call, just show up. I'll take it, no problem.
Okay, great. Is it near your house?
No, it's quite a ways, but no problem.
All right, great. Great. Well, thank you for the invite. I'd love to take you up on that.
Yeah.
Plus, I got to do it during work, so I get like paid to do it. You know what I mean? But I just educated myself on it, and it sounds like it's a pretty significant part of the whole Penitenticia Creek and how water flows. It's very interesting to me. I'm trying to just to familiarize myself with things that could happen. Like if you had to evacuate, where would you go, right? And who's going to do that? I am going to do that. I'm going to be the one that makes that happen for you with my teams, and we have to have great plans in place to make that happen. As far as calls for service, I am happy to tell you most of them have been proactivity in your area, the normal stuff like the tickets and citations for speeding and that type of thing. That has happened. But the one call that stood out, and it was on December 30th, was somebody called in and said that someone was shooting an AR-15, which is like, it looks like an assault rifle, that if you were to think of what one looks like, I guess. Scary, right? And the officers went out and searched with the helicopter. They did find the subject riding a bike. He did have a case on his back. They stopped him and arrested him. He had a bunch of outstanding felony warrants, and he was taken into custody. He had an airsoft gun, which is like a gun that shoots like a softer round, not a bullet, but like a softer round. And it looked exactly like an AR-15. So if you heard about it or saw it on Nextdoor, I got a message saying that it was on Nextdoor. That's what it was. The person was taken into custody without incident. Nobody got injured. Nobody was shot. But the officers in the helicopter did find him and take him into custody. That was the big call kind of in that area. And couple meetings that I've been to, that we had one meeting a little further down Hofstadter at Brokaw area at a noodle place, where I got to kind of speak about any type of basically hate crimes related to the Asian population. And that was really a very powerful meeting. I just got to meet a lot of people, and a lot of them were from Berryessa area. So I got to hear their concerns. And one big one was that Asian businesses were being targeted. And if I thought that that the burglars were going after Asian businesses specifically, and I didn't have that information that was happening. Unfortunately, a bunch of businesses are getting targeted, right? During COVID, they were getting targeted. And that was kind of the takeaway from the meeting. We just got to know each other. That's kind of all I have. Sorry for talking so much, but I haven't seen you in a while. And thank you for the invite.
I think Catherine has her hand up. Go ahead, Catherine. You're on mute. You're on mute. Catherine, you're on mute.
There she goes.
There we go.
Oh.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you, Captain Trayer. I was curious if you've been up Sierra Road, up to the park, up to Open Space Park.
Not lately. I have not.
Okay.
I have been up there before, but I haven't been up there since the new year.
Okay. There's an area that the County Roads Department has not been able to maintain. It's right below 4150 Sierra Road. There's a no stopping sign with an alcohol monument all the way wrapped around it. The neighbors and I have been trying to keep the trash under control until the county roads. I guess county roads is under an emergency authorization right now over at the fairgrounds doing for the COVID testing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they haven't been able to replace them. So that area has become a hot spot, a new gathering spot. And they've taken out all the delineators in that spot. And they've been down for probably about 2-3 months now. And so they know that they're down. So they're up there, they're graffitiing, they're partying, they're drinking. And we have tried not to call because we would be calling every night. The traffic's been down, but we're still getting the rowdy group up here, especially late at night. You know, like after 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it really picks up 11:30. Then we get the crazies. So anyway, I want to thank you. And one quick question, the neighborhood, sorry, I'm trying to fit it all in quick.
Okay.
The neighbors have asked me is, since Suncrest now has the delineators up, that's been pushing those cars that used to go there over here. So I have seen the sheriffs up here on occasion. I haven't seen San Jose PD.
Okay.
So we have a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's rarely observed. So we would appreciate more. And I don't know what your staffing is. I realize with COVID and the spike, everybody is like short-staffed. Is that the case with with you too, San Jose PD?
I don't like to use short-staffed as an excuse for not doing patrol. Yes, we definitely are feeling the impact of COVID. We're definitely feeling it. But I did not know that they were going up to Sierra Road. I remember you and I spoke about, we were supposed to meet, but we never got to, right? I still owe you a meeting. And that, I'm looking at the address you gave me, and it looks like it's way up in the hills. Is that Sheriff's Department jurisdiction?
It's both.
Is it
It's
both?
city and county. It's past the double homicide spot. The city is maintaining all of their delineators, but where the county 4150 and above, there's an area there that's city and county on both sides. It's right before it's about a mile before the open space park. So what's happening is Open Space has stepped up to secure the park better with cameras and lights. And that has pushed some of the people down. So they found a new spot now. And they figured once they started taking those delineators out and with no patrols, it's started another cycle.
Okay. I'm gonna go up there and look. And I mean, I'm not telling you just because it might be sheriff's department jurisdiction right in that very moment that we can't do anything, but it's something I can look at and work on. There's a new captain. I don't know if he's here. I don't know.
I don't know who it is. Yeah.
Okay, it's Fuente. It's Puente
Oh.
is his name. He's
Okay.
I think I know he's about to become captain if he didn't, because our captain left, right? So
Yeah.
so that is one of those things. Now that you've told me about Sierra Road, I did pass on an email recently about traffic on Sierra Road from another person. And I talked to the lieutenant in charge of traffic, because if I don't know, like if you guys don't tell me that it's kicking up, I won't know. So I can definitely help you with that. And then you know how I am. I work at night, so I can drive up there. Probably not tonight isn't the great night, but maybe a Friday or Saturday night and see what's going on. We did make a big impact on Sierra Road, or on Suncrest, with everything that council member did. But the Sierra Road, I'd have to just kind of see what we can do for patrol.
Okay, we all appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Could you put your hand down, Catherine? Could you take your hand down
I think
under
it-
reactions? Yeah. I'll just have to ignore you then. All right.
Ignore it because I'm looking all over on my screen and my hand is not up. So I don't know what the deal is with that.
It is up.
I don't see it either, but maybe.
I can see. What can I see it? Oh, maybe I'm seeing things.
Well, now-
Anyway,
Okay, sorry.
yeah,
Ignore me.
under reactions. Okay. Zamborelli's, are you here tonight? We haven't seen you for a long time. How nice of you to come.
Madam
Appreciate it.
Chair, I have a question, please. Wally has one and I have one for the officer.
Oh, I see your hand up there. It's yellow. Okay. Who was first, Wally or Rick?
Wally,
Wally. Go ahead, Wally.
Okay.
There you go.
Do you have any information on activity west of the freeway between Sierra and Berryessa?
Is there something in particular that you're referring?
Just if there was anything outstanding or extremely violent, or, something of note that had happened in that area from Hofstetter all the way to Berryessa between Flickinger and Lundy.
I don't know. I don't know particularly
Okay.
anything that sticks out. I mean, there wasn't an assault with a deadly weapon. There wasn't a homicide, of course. The big things haven't happened there, but if there's something specific, I'd be happy to look it up for you.
No, but I just heard fireworks go off. I'm sitting in my den. I can hear it through the window, so I don't know what direction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all part of the area that I look at when I put my stats together for this meeting. So nothing stood out for me, but I kind of do. I do it monthly with a few days cushion on each side. So if there's something that sticks out, you can always. I don't care what day it is. Just send me an email or at least leave me a message. If something happens and you're not sure what happened, I can look it up for you and tell you what was going on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Dick, I see you.
yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Captain Troyer,
Yes,
no matter what, I've always been a supporter of PD. I was a cop myself. I worked arson investigator for years, 33 years in the fire service. So when I tell you it's something that happens and I don't see, so I'm here to tell you that up in Sierra Road, 90% is county, but that's immaterial. Unfortunately, like my house, I'm in the city of San Jose, and that's just the way life goes. In the last 8 months, I don't go look for it. I've never even seen police up here. So I seen the San Jose cop. 8 months. When I first got here, I used to see him. He'd come to my house, sheriff, deputies, and so on. It's just not there. So I'm not saying to be negative because I support you 100%. I know the workload, what you guys do. I couldn't be more supportive. Today I'm on the retirement board. We had to give recommended 3 disability retirements for police officers and firefighters. It's a serious job, and there's not enough to go around to suit me. But here's the deal. They just got through stealing my mail. So crime is increasing up here. I just got notified by San Jose PD. Went down and picked up my mail. They stole a car from someone else. Whatever they did, abandoned it. My mail's there along with my neighbors. The traffic up here is this. When there's a beautiful weekend, y'all should know it by now. We've had up to 8,000 to 10,000 cars on a weekend. It's just the way it is. It's insane up here. It's not the same. So I couldn't imagine society without you. I'm here. I'm glad that people are waking up and saying we're not defunding, we're refunding. We're doing the better job for you folks, we hope. I'm with you all the way, but I'm telling you the best I can, honest, straight up. You're not here. I don't care what the statistics say. I'm here. I look, my neighbors call me all the time. I need your help. You can come up here, use my videos on many occasions for crime and things in the past. I'm always here available, 7/24, whatever you need. But I can tell you this rural area is really bad on law enforcement visibility. I take my life in my own hands. I work on my landscaping. It's just nuts. And at 77 years old, I can't fight as good as I used to. So it ain't real tough. So I need some help. My neighbors need help. And most of them don't want to call no more because they're tired of calling and getting nothing. So when Kathy says, well, Catherine says, she's right. She doesn't want to call for a trivial thing, but it's not trivial up here. Now, everybody wants you. I understand it. So if we can be helpful, I'll call in, do whatever we can. I always had a good relationship. We have great folks up here, but we need more visibility. And the patrolling is not good because when I was able to get 2 caution lights installed that really helped. And I appreciate Otto Lee and David Cohen's office to help in those things. But I can't do it by myself, and Catherine can't do it by herself. We need you folks, and we'll be supportive, whatever you need. So that's my spill. I'm always available. Call me up anytime, whatever you need, I'm here.
I'm going to take you up on that.
All right, thank you. All right, good questions.
Oh,
All right, I don't think the sheriff is here. So-
Linda, I had my hand raised for.
Oh, I'm
Captain
sorry.
Trayer.
There you are. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you. Captain Trayer, again, I just want to thank you for your service and the support that San Jose PD has offered to Berryessa Union School District. I did want to share with you, it's funny because there's been an incident going on as I've been on this meeting. We've had now 3 schools that have been broken into in the past 3 days. So we had one on Friday night, and then we had one about 20 minutes ago, and another one about 5 minutes ago. And they are all in the same vicinity. So it was the Ruskin Majestic Way, Sierramont area. And I do want to commend your folks for getting out there on time, because I just got a notice that there are potentially 2 individuals that are in custody. So that was a very quick response time. And so I want to thank you for that, because from what we've observed, there hasn't been anything stolen per se. They are going through to the portable classrooms and just trashing the buildings and tearing down the portable screens, throwing, equipment down on the floor, breaking windows, kind of in and out. So I certainly hope this isn't a trend, and that the 2 that were caught this evening are potentially the ones responsible for all of these incidents. But I do want to thank your officers for their quick response time in supporting us.
Well, thank you. That must explain why my phone is going nuts right now.
Yes, and that's why I was going in and out of camera, because I was taking these calls. So, but thank you so much for your help in it, and just, perhaps just some ongoing patrolling around our sites. I'm quite surprised at how early the incidents are. So we actually still have staff on site for the 2 incidents that happened tonight.
Well, if my lieutenant updates me, I can see him typing. I'll let you know what he says. But schools, when schools get broken into, it's not just like a burglary to us. It goes through all the way to the chain of command, all the way up to the chief of police. It's just one of those things that we always, it's a big deal to us. So I'm glad. I'll let you know more if I hear about it. But I'm glad to hear. I knew something was happening, but somebody sent me a special message saying it wasn't life or death. and then I can get a hold of them
Yes.
in the meeting. So thank you for
Well,
that.
Thank you for the support again.
Dr. Fuentes, I hope you prepare a bill for the suspects to
Well, now that
repair
we
all
have
of the
some in
damage.
custody, we certainly
Yeah.
can. So yes.
Be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay, any more hands? I don't see them, but I'm not gonna see them tonight, I guess. Okay. So, and I don't see the sheriff. So our first person for officials is Senator Wachowski's representative, Tim Orozco. Where'd you go? There you are.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the scratchy voice. I've had this cough. It's not COVID, but I will get it checked on Wednesday. Anyway, so Happy New Year. The legislature went back into session last week on Monday the 3rd. And as some of you know, the governor presented a budget today as required by the Constitution. So it's a $286 billion budget. I won't get into the details now, but just to let you know that there's a $31 to $45 billion surplus, and you know, the major and there'll be billions of dollars spent and millions of dollars spent on some of our major challenges like COVID-19, the pandemic, homelessness, public safety, climate change, and economic inequality or cost of living issues. So more to come on that, because typically I give a more specific report on the budget during May, when the May revise is presented. So I'll give you the specifics then. You know, this is our last year. The senator is termed out on, just to let you all know, there is an election this year. You will have a new senator in December. So November 30th, 2022 is our last day. It's been, you know, a great run with Senator Wachowski. I've been with him, this will be 10 years. So I think we will all miss him. And because of redistricting, I don't know if you've been paying attention to that. Sunnyvale, now the second largest city in the county, is now a part of Senate District 10. It wasn't in the past. And the upper fringes of East County, Castro Valley, San Lorenzo, the unincorporated areas are put in Senate District 9. So essentially, the district will run from Hayward to Sunnyvale. It doesn't affect us here in Berryessa, although the district will go to McKee Road instead of Mabury Road. So McKee is already where the Assembly District is, but the Senate District will now go to McKee. So there will be some changes there. So you can look forward to a new senator in December. There are a couple of bills that the senator has presented. I had mentioned, I think the last time I met with you, and I just want to remind you, one is a Food Dyes Act, which essentially will require safety labels on products that have certain dyes, because science has found that they cause behavioral issues with children. So we'll see if this will happen this year. It's in the Assembly. The other one that's in the Assembly is the bottle bill, SB 38, which will reform our recycling program and put a responsibility upon the beverage distributors to come up with a way to increase recycling rates in the state. Because as you all know, redemption centers have closed by half in this state. So we need to improve our recycling program. So those are just two bills that are on the table. I'll bring up some more next month. But I think that's about it. You know, I look forward to this last year with Senator Wachowski. And you know, if you ever need assistance, we've been dealing with a lot of EDD, unemployment issues or cases, I should say, with constituents during the last year and a half. And so that's been keeping us busy, even though, you know, we work remotely from home most of the time. So yeah, Happy New Year. And if you need any assistance, call me. You have my cell number, or you can call the office. That's about it.
Well, great. Good to
Yeah.
see you. Thanks for the report.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay, next up, Assembly.
Got my hand up.
Oh, I had to switch screens. That's funny. Okay, Wally, go ahead.
Tim,
Get everybody on.
a
Yeah.
suggestion for that money. On the news tonight, they were talking about a statewide gun buyback.
Hmm.
Now, if Grandpa passes away and he's got a really expensive shotgun, Grandma will get a whole lot more money if she takes that gun to a gun store and offers it to them. It'll all be a legal transaction, and somebody will get a good shotgun they can use for duck hunting or skeet, whatever they want.
Yeah.
It'll also save the taxpayers some money.
All right. Well, we'll take that into consideration. Thanks, Wally.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else with their hand? I can only see one screen at a time, so I don't know why. Maybe we got so many people here. Okay, next up is Assembly Member Alex Lee's representative, Jariah.
Hi, everyone. I hope the new year is treating you all well. Tim kind of stole my thunder. I was going to talk about the budget too, but he got most of it in. So I'll talk about some of the bills that the Assembly member brought up. He is a joint co-author for CalCare, which is AB 1400. And then this is essentially going to be establishing universal health care in California, which would be really cool. It would be comprehensive universal single health care coverage that would enroll, like any California resident would be eligible and they're entitled to enroll as a member. There would be no fees, payments, premiums, co-payments, and deductibles or other changes. But Assembly Member Ash Kalra is the primary author of the bill. So if you have any questions about in the weeds about how the bill would work, you can go ahead and call Ash Kalra's office. And then I also wanted to touch on redistricting as well. So our district is going to be changing a little bit, but it won't affect Berryessa as well. But the key difference for our district, for Assembly District 25, is that Santa Clara is going to be cut out of our district, and half of our district is going to be mainly Fremont. So most of our district now is going to be Fremont residents, but then the same southern border will still be McKee. And and we're still taking legislative requests. If you still have any bill ideas, I'll drop that in the chat. And if you're also curious about the other district lines, there's a website called We Draw the Lines if you want to check that out and see how your Congress or Senate changed. But I don't think Berryessa has changed very much. I also live in Berryessa, so I was kind of keeping track. So it's primarily the same. Oh, and we're going to be called, instead of Assembly District 25, we're going to be 24 now. So that's the only major difference for all of you to be aware of. And that's essentially all.
Great. Any questions? Let's see. I don't see any hands. Okay. Thank you, Jariah. Appreciate that. Good report. Council Member Cohen, I see you're here, but Alexander's here. He's giving you a report, I assume.
Yes, thank you very much, Linda. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing well and that the new year is off to a great start for everyone. I'd like to first and foremost provide a quick update on redistricting at the city council level. Jariah and Tim gave a quick update on the state legislative level. So like Jariah said, D4's boundaries did not change much at the council level. If you want to see a map as well as some other info with updates on the council redistricting process, I just dropped a link in the chat. But we just want to say that we're very excited to continue working with BCAC and to continue to work on behalf of the beautiful Berryessa community as we move forward with the new year. I would also like to announce that we're very pleased to see that the Rules Committee on January 5th unanimously approved our office's memo to terminate progress on the Charcot Avenue Overpass project. As I'm sure many of you know, this project has been underway for decades now, despite some serious health and environmental concerns from neighbors and residents in the area, as well as students and teachers at the Orchard School there. So we're very happy to see this take us a step closer to bringing that project to a close and to redirecting the funding for that project to other projects that are going to serve the needs and economic well-being of District 4 and its residents.
Ah,
We also want to invite folks to provide input on the Highway 101 interchange that is currently being planned at Mabury Road. So the city is hosting a public scoping meeting on the project on January 19th. And we want to encourage everyone to attend so that you can learn more about the project, provide feedback, and to make sure your voice is part of the process. And so if you would like to learn more about how to join that meeting, learn a bit more about the project, I would encourage everybody to reach out to our office. I'm going to go ahead and drop our office email in the chat. So please drop us an email and we'd be happy to share that information with you. And lastly, I want to thank you all for giving the council member the opportunity to speak last month and provide kind of a quick review of our office's work and accomplishments over the last year. For those of you who weren't able to make it last month, I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to the review in the chat. You can check it out there. You can take a look and learn about everything we've been up to over the last year, from dumpster days and community events to casework and policy at the council level. And while you're checking out the review, please feel free to follow us on Facebook. We share a lot of really great updates there on what's going on in the district and with the council. So it's a really good way to stay informed about what's going on in Berryessa and throughout D4. All right, I believe that is it for us. Thank you again for the opportunity and have a great night, everybody.
thank you. Let's see if there's any hands. I don't see any hands. Okay, very nice, Alexander. Thank you. Santa Clara County Water District. Richard Santos.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In fact, I just saw a little blurb from Ty Graves when he said rainy day fund. That made me excited just hearing the name, rainy day fund. But I did want to say thank you to Senator Wachowski when you talk about recycling water and trying to get legislation and funding along with Assembly Member Lee. Been very supportive, and so I appreciate that. In fact, today I had about 3-4 hour meetings today on our CIP. That's the projects we'll be looking at for the next 5 years. And yes, about $8 billion, but with that comes a lot of jobs and a lot of infrastructure. We can go on and on. We'll do everything we can to try to cut water costs. It's very difficult, and I'll tell you why. You know, people ask all the time, well, you know, how can you reduce the rates? Well, let me give you an analogy. I go to the same sandwich shop I've been going for years, and I used to be with one sandwich was $12.02. I go yesterday and it's $12.79. I go, what happened? I go to Costco and I buy the M&Ms. It was $10.99. Now it's $13.99. So nobody seems to want to reduce anything. It just keeps on escalating, and inflation is out of hand. In fact, all the different permits and all the regulatory stuff we go through, it's not in our hands. It's out of our hands. It's completely insane. And when you pause and you don't get something built, just add another couple $1 million to it. So when people ask the questions about Anderson or Pacheco and you go, well, why is it $350 million and now it's 2.5? I got nothing to do with it. We do everything we can without federal and state, and I can go on and on, and material, construction, environmental costs, I can go on and on. We went through it and we asked our staff to do everything they can. It's just out of our control. So it's not about voting for us to decrease something. You can't do it. Go to fuel, whatever you takes, it's just completely out of hand. So, you know, we look at the Senator Wachowski's and Assembly Member Lee's and Evan Lowe and all of his, they got to do more legislation for water because, you know, without water, you'll pay more damage control. So I won't go through the whole thing today, but when we do, I can tell you this, people keep on saying, well, are we out of the drought? You got to be kidding. And listen up, folks. We had a nice wet December and we all love it. But the prediction for January, February, and March doesn't look very inviting. And as you know right now, the sun is out and it's back to the way it was. And so water conservation is a way of life. It's never going to change. And so people got to realize you got to conserve. And when people say, well, let's do other things. Well, if you don't dam the water up, where are you going to get it? Because you ain't going to get any more. That's it. So you got to save it. Don't let it go to the ocean. Don't let it run off somewhere. Recapture it. It takes money and it takes time. But everybody's got to chip in, and every different government agency, if they would just do their job, I can guarantee you I'd do mine. And if you did, it's called teamwork. Look at the 49ers. Despite injuries, it was a team determination and a leadership of a quarterback that said, we're never going to give up. What a fantastic job they did. And so let's set the record straight. We all got to chip in and do our part. And criticisms is simple. Solutions are hard. But if you work together, I'm up for the challenges. And we're going to do a great job. So with that, you can always call me anytime you want. We can go on all day. water conservation, I say it one more time, I'm 77. I got mine, but I want your children to have yours. And if you don't dam it up, there's certain groups out here that don't want to do it, but they don't have the solution. They just make up a lot of BS. Be safe.
Okay, thank you, sir. Berryessa Union School District Superintendent, Dr. Fuentes.
Good evening, everyone. It's always good to see you. Last week was our first week back to school from the holiday break. And it was certainly one of the most challenging weeks we've experienced in quite some time. Certainly, as you've read in the newspapers, schools are incredibly impacted, with dealing with the current COVID situation. And I just have to first and foremost say how grateful I am for all of our Berryessa staff, our teachers, our administrators, our support staff. They're doing everything they can to support our families. I think the most significant challenge has been being able to increase testing capacity. We were fortunate that Berryessa, prior to this current surge, we have weekly testing at each school site for the students and for the staff. But certainly under the current circumstances, you want more. And so we were able to do an emergency response center for testing last week to be able to try to accommodate the need for test, and not necessarily just for positive cases, but for all the close contacts that are impacted by positive cases. And so I do want to share some numbers because I'm very proud of the work that our staff was able to do in partnership with our testing provider. And last week alone, we went ahead and we gave, let's see here, 3,472 COVID tests were administered in 1 week. And in addition to that, we also provided well over 5,000 at-home test kits to every student in our school district that wanted one. We had 2 distributions last week to make those available. So certainly we had never experienced that volume of testing need before. And so really glad that our team was able to do that and to be there for our staff and our families. I know we are still trying to coordinate with CDPH, who is our direct partner for our testing, to be able to scale it up even more. We've put in requests for additional technicians to be able to expand our hours of service for testing at the district office. We also, as I've shared in the past, we have another local partner, which is Bay Area Community Health, that they have offered twice monthly testing to the entire Berryessa community over at Sierramont Middle School. Unfortunately, they have been impacted by staffing shortages and things of that nature due to their own technicians being impacted with COVID. So they had to cancel last week's event. However, I do want to share with the community that they're going to be back at Sierramont this week on Thursday from 1:30 to 4:30. However, usually that service is opened up to the entire community. It still is open. However, it's going to be by appointment. So there is a registration link. If you go to the Berryessa website, it's under our announcements. So if anyone here, is interested in getting a test, please be sure to pre-register so that way you can be accounted for. They do have a limited number of tests available, but we certainly are glad that they're able to come out and do a community-wide service this Thursday. Also, we continue to encourage all of our students and our staff and families who are eligible for vaccinations, for boosters, to please, access them. We have another clinic that's occurring this Wednesday. We are doing this in partnership with Piedmont Hills High School. And so that will take place in the evening on Wednesday from 3 to 7:30. There is no appointment necessary, and they will be providing vaccinations to all eligible age groups, 5 and up. And any of you that have, your young teens who just became eligible for boosters, ages 12 to 15, they will be having those Pfizer boosters available for them as well. Berryessa will also be having another vaccination clinic that'll take place at Mural Middle School at the end of the month on January 29th. So we're definitely trying to do our best to provide all of that accessibility to our students and our families. And we're in the process of trying to scale up, like I said, the testing capacity. That's really what's needed the most right now. We're appreciative that Santa Clara County Public Health Department and CDPH have reduced the timeframes for some of the isolation periods. So it'll help us get students back into school sooner, so long as they test negative. But again, those new requirements also come with additional testing needs. So, we want to be able to expedite, children's ability to get back into the classroom. So that's where that testing partnership is really critical. I know the governor has announced, putting more money towards testing capacity for schools. So we look forward to accessing that. And like I said, the district's working very hard to try to accommodate that need right now for all of our children. The first week, like I said, was definitely disruptive. It wasn't quite the normal welcoming back to school that we usually have after the holiday break, but really proud of everyone wearing multiple hats, putting, their best foot forward to try to meet the immediate needs that our families and students had. We have our own staff that have also certified to be testing technicians. We had 3 in the district office. Myself and 2 others became certified today. So I am now a COVID test administrator. So just doing whatever we can to try to expand that testing accessibility. So, hopefully in February when we're back, we can talk more about good school events and, and the instructional learning that's happening every day. But right now, COVID is still, on the forefront of what we're trying to address.
Thank you. Lots of information there. I think I'm going to go to Sierra Mont on Thursday. Piedmont Hills High School student representative Vishnu, got something to report for us?
All right, hi everyone. Okay, so I guess most of what I have today is COVID related. So coming back from break, I guess it was pretty bad timing given like holidays, Christmas and the New Year's, right? And as the week progressed, the absence rate went from like a 10% to 20%. So 1 out of every 5 kids were absent. And because of that, classes have been very difficult because you can't really give a test if there's like 6, 7 people absent, right? That being said, the school is really doing their part. On Monday, every single student got their own little tests, rapid testing kits, 2 tests actually. And it's been coming in useful. They have also been doing contact tracing. So if you've been in contact with someone and the school knows about it, they'll send you an email. And right now, nothing's been spreading, so it's obviously working. That being said, there's not much more. School has already clarified that they don't plan on closing, which I agree with. I don't think anyone can handle online learning again. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you.
Vishnu, you didn't announce that today is the first day of your new internship with the D4 Council Office.
I did forget to say that. All right. So
Thanks, Stacy. Go
I'm
ahead,
working
Vishnu.
again. I'm working again with District 4 in my internship. The contract does say it starts today. I actually completely forgot. Thanks for reminding me, Stacy.
We love having Vishnu working in our council office. He's a terrific intern.
Great.
Appreciate it.
We expect nothing less because he's done a lot for us too. Thank you, Stacy, for reminding him. Okay, we have one more. Senator Cortez's office, represented by Roy. Where are you, Roy? Can't see you. Oh, there you are. Hi, Roy.
Hi, everyone. Good evening and happy new year. My name is Roy and I am a new field rep with Senator Cortez's office. I previously worked in Sacramento for a few members and I'm recently new to the Silicon Valley. I just have a few legislative updates and some information of our upcoming town hall next Thursday, January 20th. As my colleagues in the legislature have mentioned, the legislature reconvened just last week. And in this previous session, Senator Cortez was able to pass over eight bills into law and help to secure over $25 million in funding for district-wide projects. This legislative year, Senator Cortez is excited to get back to work and build on the innovative initiatives and investments he championed last year to address the impacts of COVID-19 and address the needs of Californians. Some legislation he's working on, he plans to introduce legislation to protect entertainment workers on theatrical productions in the wake of the tragic shooting on the set of the film Rust, with the intent to improve safety on the set of filming sets. Along with Assembly members Rivas, Calderon, Ward, and others, Senator Cortez will also be a principal co-author on legislation regarding climate change education that would integrate climate literacy into California's education system and ensure all students learn about climate change. Today, January 10th, Governor Newsom released his budget proposal for the upcoming fiscal year, of which the senator was able to release a statement in support of much of the proposal and expected budget surplus, including expanding access to COVID-19 response and testing, prioritizing school-based mental health centers and support systems, building decarbonization programs, strengthening public health infrastructure, supporting early education and universal transitional kindergarten, and supporting the proposed expansion of Medi-Cal coverage to all income eligible Californians. In terms of in the district, last month we were able to host a town hall in collaboration with CAL FIRE. The discussions were surrounding wildfire preparedness. And so on our website at sd15.senate.ca.gov, you can find a recording of that town hall. Amidst the holiday season, the senator was able to host a toy distribution in collaboration with Los Bomberos to provide toys for children and families across the district. And as of next Thursday, January 20th, we would like to invite you all to our town hall. And this town hall will be regarding tax season. And it will be a phone call. And so I'll go ahead and drop that RSVP link in the chat, as well as my contact information. And it's going to be an informative presentation and Q&A discussion to help you all in the district prepare for 2022 tax season. You'll hear from representatives of the Franchise Tax Board, as well as United Way Bay Area, to learn about services available to you, including no cost tax assistance and preparation services. You'll also learn more about information about qualifying for different tax credits, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit, as well as the Young Child Tax Credit. And this town hall will be hosted through Zoom. And I'll go ahead again and drop that information in the chat. And I'll go ahead and share that flyer as well. If you have any questions, please reach out to our office. And that's all from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. We still think of David as part of our own, since he's you know, evergreen and all the way up, and they've been always involved. That whole family's been involved. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Are there any questions? Okay. Any questions? Okay. Our next presentation, finally, we're ready to go. Eric Shane Hour.
Yes. Yeah.
On the project with the on the Capitol Avenue, 905 Capitol Avenue at Penitencia. So
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you, Linda. We appreciate it, and we appreciate the opportunity that the board and the members of BCAC are giving us to share our project with the community. Our project's at 905 North Capitol at Penitencia Creek at the Penitencia Creek Light Rail Station, and it is being developed by the Hanover Company. And I'm joined tonight with Scott Udall and Grace Nolan from the Hanover Company, and our architects, Megan Martin and Fred Metzger from KTGY Architects. They'll be giving an overview of the project shortly, but I wanted to make it known that Council Member Cohen has been very clear with our project and all developers that his expectation is that we will actively engage with the community to share our projects and to get questions answered and input from the community as we go through the public review process. So he's strongly encouraged us to do that, and having the opportunity to meet with you is a part of that outreach, along with other community meetings that have happened and will happen going forward. So with that, I will turn it over to Scott to give an overview of the project, and we will be available for questions and comments afterwards.
Thanks, Eric. Can everyone hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. And I echo Eric's comments. Thank you for having us here tonight and giving us a chance to present our proposed project to everyone here this evening. If it's okay, I have a brief presentation, although I think I may need permission to share my screen, if that's okay.
Eric, you can take care of that, right?
No.
Oh,
no, not you, Eric. Eric is our media person.
Oh, okay.
Eric.
Eric did take care of it. Can you?
All right.
All right, great. One moment here. Let me move to full screen mode and slide that out of the way. Okay, can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes.
Great, okay. So I just have a brief presentation just on the proposed project and a little bit of background, and want to be sensitive to everyone's time. So I may go through some of these slides quickly, but you know, we'll be pausing on a few slides to discuss some recent changes to the project, given community feedback as well as staff and council member feedback. And so with that, I'll get going, and happy to answer if there's anything that I don't touch on that you have any questions on. Please feel free to ask during or after my presentation. So I'm going to start off with just, excuse me, a quick aerial. Is that working on your screens? Hopefully, there should be an existing aerial there of the site. So highlighted in blue here is the project site. It is 3.5 acres, which consists of 2 parcels that are bisected by Penitenticia Creek Road, with a 2.1 acre and a 1.4 acre parcel fronting on North Capitol Avenue. And pictured here also is the Penitencia Creek VTA station, so that our future residents, once the project is completed, will be able to walk, you know, just a couple hundred feet from their front door to the actual train platform and doors going forward. So we're excited about that transit-oriented capability. And just a quick background view, this is the land use map of the city's general plan. And the land use designation, it's a little difficult to read here for the site, is transit residential. And the density range for transit residential is 50 to 250 dwelling units to the acre. and a height of 5 to 25 stories. The project that we are proposing is, and this is a site plan of both parcels, and we are proposing on the larger parcel a 345 unit apartment building that is 7 stories on the larger parcel, and on the smaller parcel, 32 for sale townhomes, which are 3 stories for each of these 4 townhome buildings. And part of the challenge that we embraced coming into this project was that one couldn't do all townhomes here because the minimum density is 50 to the acres, and the city's general plan has designated this for high density housing. And so, early on, we had 2 distinct parcels that were separated by a street. And so the goal here was to meet 2 different housing needs with one project, programming, the higher density parcel here at 7 stories, and getting, which is able to pull the blended density to a range of about 113 an acre. So, just below the midpoint of that 50 to 250 unit range. So I'm going to go floor by floor on the buildings really quick, and then I'll show some perspectives from the outside. This is the basement level of the apartment building, consisting of all parking. And here is the ground floor, which again, we have 2 levels of parking, one at grade and one below grade. And this is Penitencia Creek here, and this is North Capitol. And one of the changes that we'd want to highlight from that is a new change from past community meetings is that we formerly had about 8 or 9 units on the ground floor surrounding our corner leasing and amenity space. We have recently made a change to reduce the unit count, and we are now at 345 units. And we have converted the North Capitol frontage to a mix of commercial suites as well as amenity spaces for the residential project. And so these commercial suites, it's about 2,700 square feet in total, but they would be 6 commercial offices with a common conference room as well as common bathrooms for the office tenants. And the goal there is we have a very wide active street in North Capitol with a lot of active uses and traffic and the VTA light rail there. And we saw a need for, especially in today's post-COVID work from home environment, where these office spaces could be available for not necessarily just residents of our building, but really anyone in the neighborhood who is seeking office space but not wanting to drive to a Regis office suite all the way downtown. We've employed these in similar locations in other projects, and they've been successful, and we feel that this is a better fit than all residential on the ground floor as we had previously proposed it. Moving up in the building, this is the 2nd floor, which features the courtyard levels, central courtyard for the residents, as well as a secondary courtyard that faces to the south, where the existing Creekside neighborhood is. Then making our way up the building, this is basically floors 3 through 6, and then the top floor, floor 7. We've stepped back the building from the Creekside neighbors, and we'll have a rendering that will show a better view of that. But that was another recent change from the city community meeting that we held in October. And that was in response to neighbor comments and discussions with residents that live here. So flipping to some perspectives, and I'll just kind of walk you around the building. This is the view of the apartment project from North Capitol and Penitencia. You can see the outline of the VTA tracks right there. And this is looking at the building lobby. And this is the commercial suites here, which were formerly units, fronting onto North Capitol. This gives you a view of that same North Capitol frontage from the other side. For everyone's information, this blank area here is an approved townhome project that has already been approved by the city and is currently going through the permitting process. And we expect this project to break ground at or ahead of the same time that our project breaks ground. And here's just another zoomed in view of the lobby on North Capitol. And then this is a view of the back. And again, this kind of shows you where these viewpoints are. This is what was previously described as Courtyard B. Some of the changes we made after meeting with the local neighbors, this block here basically represents the massing of the townhomes that are there today. And we originally had open fencing here for this courtyard. We screened it in to address privacy concerns from these neighbors. And we've also peeled back some of the massing here so that the building steps down and as we approach the property line. And then this is another at-grade courtyard from the project. And this is basically represents the property line between our property and the townhomes. Shifting across the street, this is just a view of the townhome community that's being proposed on the smaller of the two parcels, 32 townhomes consisting of 3 and 4 bedroom plans. And again, this is a view of the central townhome paseo looking back towards the apartments. So I'll pause there for a second and just to give you a couple of other facts on the project. As I mentioned, it's 345 units. It's a range of studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. The project will have 18 affordable units for moderate incomes, and will be paying into the city's inclusionary housing fee, paying inclusionary housing fees to the city on top of the moderate units. The project has 364 garage spaces for the apartments, 70 off-street spaces for the townhomes, as well as motorcycle and bike parking. And then as far as our timeline goes, Eric mentioned we are in the middle of the city processing the entitlement process. The city is in the midst of completing its environmental review. We expect the environmental review document for the project to be circulated publicly in early spring, followed by the project going to a planning director's hearing for approval this spring of 2022. Should the project be approved, we would anticipate breaking ground on the project hopefully before the end of 2022. And with that, I will pause and happy to answer any questions.
And if I could just clarify, looking at the chat, that, and this is Eric Schoenauer speaking, I am a consultant that represents the developer, and Scott Udall and Grace, who are on the line, they are the developer. They work for the Hanover company that will be developing this project. And then we have our architect from KTGY on. So we do not work for the city. We represent the developer and are the developer for the project. So Linda, however you want to take questions or comments, we're ready.
Yeah, I can't see it. Let's see. I have to see the screen. Do you have any more?
Let me stop sharing my screen, Linda, and then that might make it easier.
Then we can see there. Thank you. All right. Any questions, statements, thoughts? Hello?
I don't know how to raise my hand, Linda. This is Janet. I'm raising my
Jan.
hand.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hi,
Good,
everyone.
go
I
ahead.
live in Creekside, which is right behind this proposed development. Just to clarify, you said there's 364 parking spaces in the garage level. Did you mention 70 off-street parking spaces?
On Capitol.
In addition to that, yes, Janet, for the townhomes. So
Where?
that includes the garages within the private garages within the townhomes, as well as 6 additional off-street spaces within the townhome parcel.
Okay. Have you made any changes to the entry into the parking garage? Is that still proposed to be on the little segment of street, Penitenticia Creek, leading into Creekside?
That the driveway is still on Penitencia, yes.
No plan for
We-
changing that?
Well, there's no ability. The only other place that the project entry for the apartment building would be further down on Kestrel. We can't have the project entry on North Capitol with the VTA line and the and so close to the signal off of North Capitol.
Okay. Has the traffic report been done? Because again, I don't think that street can handle that kind of capacity of traffic.
So the way the process works is the city's Department of Public Works and Transportation oversee the preparation of a traffic analysis to look at that, and that is in progress. And it's part of the environmental review. So when the city releases the environmental document, that traffic report will be available to everybody to review, study, and comment.
Okay. The landscaping of this new development seems like it's quite different from what we have going on in Creekside. I just think it's going to make our neighborhood look so drastically different from what you're building in front of us. That's a concern, I think, of all the neighbors back here in Creekside.
Waiting for an answer, right?
Any comment?
Was that a comment or a question?
It's a comment.
Okay.
It just, the look and feel of the whole project is just completely different. You're talking about putting a very modern, kind of squarish looking neighborhood in front of something that's just completely different. It's just a comment, but I know my neighbors feel the same.
And we will be having a follow-up meeting with the Creekside neighbors, our most immediate neighbors. So we'll be working with Janet, you and others to set that up.
Okay, do you know the timing of that? Would that be before or after the environmental review meeting? Or the report rather, sorry.
Well, we're prepared to meet any time now. So we'll really look at what's best for the neighborhood, the neighbors to get together. But I don't know the city's exact timing for releasing the environmental document. So I'm not sure whether it'll be before or after.
Okay.
But we're happy to meet before.
Yeah.
I think it would probably be beneficial to meet after. I understand there's a period of time, is it 21 days in between that report coming out and, you know, that window is for public comments?
Yes. Well, we don't know for sure, but assuming that the city concludes that the appropriate environmental document is a mitigated negative declaration, then it is a 20-day public circulation period. That's correct.
Okay, and do you know the timing in between that 20 days and when it goes for the approval?
Typically, the planning department will want 2 to 3 weeks to be able to review the comments received and prepare a response to them. and then the hearing would happen.
When you say hearing, is that a public hearing?
A public hearing, that's correct. So this project will be heard at a director's hearing, a planning director's public hearing, which occur on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. and they are all now virtual again. So it will be a Zoom public hearing.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have. I'll have to let this marinate a little while.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
Linda, anyone else?
See.
Yeah, I have some questions. Like the previous speaker just shared, I live off of Penitentiary Creek, and I'm afraid I'm not very happy to see this development spring up here. I have concerns, not just about the fact how much I like it or not, but I'm just concerned about the environment, the traffic, the other complications this can bring into my neighborhood. But I have a specific question. The units you said there's 2 different locations off of the Penitentiary Creek. So totally how many units are there? Do these, not the condo side, the high-rise side, how many units do you have in that location? And since you have the VTA station there, why do you need the parking spots and encourage more of parking complications there?
Hi, Prasanna. To answer your first question, the number of units in the apartment building are 345. And then on the other side are 32 townhomes. Regarding the parking, I think your question was why have so much parking if the transit station is close by? And what we have tried to do is strike a balance between that sentiment, which is actually the city's planning sentiment, which is to encourage less parking next to transit. And in fact, the project, because of its proximity to transit, could go much lower. Could go 100 spaces less than what we're proposing. However, we also know that there are concerns, including from some of your neighbors, that the project has enough adequate parking for the residents. So the balance we've tried to strike is to make sure that there is more than one space for each unit, but at the same time respecting our location next to transit and trying to build a project that is car conscious and we're not building parking that doesn't get utilized.
Yeah, this is a common phenomena for developers. We have some neighbors who want significantly less parking. In the chat, I see Ty Greaves questioning why we have so little parking. So that's very common. And so we try to find a balance point that will not overpark, encourage people to take transit, but yet not have overflow into the neighborhood. And we come at it with a lot of experience. The Hanover Company develops many projects all over the United States, including in San Jose. KTGY is a national architecture firm that has deep experience in designing apartment buildings. And of course, in the end of the day, the project's being designed to meet city requirements, city standards. And those are the rules that we go by.
I think, Sharon, did you have a statement or a question?
Where can they get on light rail? I thought they would either have to go down to Target or go down.
The light rail is almost
actually get on.
the light rail is almost right in front of this property.
Actually, you would need to go down to Gilchrist to get on it.
It's not Hillcrest.
I didn't think you could get on it right there at Penitencia.
Sure. Well, there's a whole station serving VTA light rail at Penitencia. It's called the Penitencia Creek Light Rail Station.
It's further down by the education office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
It's
block
east
away.
side.
It's 1 block
No.
away.
We're all lost. The other station is closer to Hofstadter.
I see that Mr. Appleby
And what
seems
is
to have
going
a
to-
question.
Hold on, still, wait a minute. Let me control the questions here. Go ahead, Sharon. Finish up.
With just one parking spot per unit, how are you going to keep, where are the other cars going to be parked? Can you keep them out of the neighborhood? It's already bad parking. There's no parking on Penitencia because the road's so narrow. Are you going to limit people that they can only have one vehicle if they move in?
You mentioned, Sharon, the street park, there is no street parking on Penitencia, and even within the Creekside neighborhood, there are, in my conversations with other Creekside neighbors and driving around, I think there are only 3 or 4 spaces that are not garage spaces within the Creekside neighborhood. So it is not our expectation that, there's no expectation for residents to park on Penitencia or park in one of those very few spots within Kestrel. Typically when parking is limited, we don't get residents that have multiple cars. Eric mentioned we have built other projects in San Jose. We have one project that we are leasing up right now, and we are averaging 0.8 parkings. The utilization is, we lease the parking separately, and that's a city requirement when you do a transportation demand management plan, that the parking gets leased separately from the unit. And we have several residents that don't own a car. So when there's not parking available, and there's not parking available, there's not street parking available nearby, a resident, who is looking to rent a unit where they have 2 cars is not going to lease one of our units because we don't have the parking to accommodate that resident. But there are several residents with 0 or 1 cars that would find it, would find living here desirable, because we can meet that need.
Doris, did you have a question or a statement? You have to unmute. Unmute. You have to, Doris, you're on mute. Can you unmute?
Can I ask one more question, Linda, while he's unmuting?
Wait a second. Go ahead, Doris.
Exactly. How many parking places per unit for the whole program?
Blended between the apartments and the townhomes, it's approximately 1.15, 1.2 parking spaces per housing unit that we're providing. However, with the townhomes, they're larger units. We do expect there to be 1 to 2 cars versus the apartments where we expect the average car ownership to be 0 to 1 cars. So on the townhomes, there are 70 parking spaces for 32 townhomes. So that's about 2.2. And then on the apartments, it's about 1.07. So there are about 20 more parking spaces than apartments on the apartment side of the project. And again, that's within the city's, prescribed guidelines for project that's proximate to transit, employing transportation demand transportation demand measures.
Ty, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. It's a quick comment. I can see where the city planning department, they just love transit and they want to push everybody that they can on the transit because it's really, really wonderful and it cuts down the number of cars. And I can see where developers really, really love the idea of fewer parking spots means more rentable space. I got all that. But light rail goes absolutely nowhere slowly. And my perception and my understanding of the data is the ridership is woeful and the costs are to county taxpayers are quite high. So I think it's a lovely idea that they'll only have one car, and I don't know that there's any data that supports that. You guys are the pros, but if it doesn't work, it's going to push cars into the neighborhood because that'll be the only place they can park. Comment ended.
Sharon, you had something else? Ron, just a second. Sharon, go ahead.
I was wondering why there's no affordable housing, why you're able to buy your way out of providing affordable housing when the city wants it so badly. And is the fire department, do they have any input on the safety if there was a fire back there and having to get engines back there?
I'll answer the fire question first, and then Scott can answer the affordable units. All development in San Jose gets fully reviewed by the fire department for adequate access and meeting the city's requirements. So this project meets all the city fire access requirements.
And regarding the affordability, the project is proposing 18 moderate income units as that will be restricted to households at 100% AMI, and that is part of the city's, the city housing department's goal to try to address the the missing middle workforce housing. And so the inclusionary housing ordinance is one of the prescribed options for new projects under the city's brand new inclusionary housing ordinance.
For those apartments, what would be the minimum income they'd have to qualify?
I'll have to look at on the income. I can look that up while we're chatting here. It's dependent by it's based on the Santa Clara County median incomes, and that differs by family size, household size rather.
At the first meeting we had, you mentioned a 6-figure income to qualify. And how much do you have to pay to not have affordable housing?
Well, it has affordable housing, but under this option, the city's prescribed under the inclusionary housing ordinance, the project would pay approximately $3.6 million in on top of the affordable units in inclusionary housing fees.
Ron, you had a question? You're on mute, Ron.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I see that originally the project was 8 stories and now it's 7. But have there been studies about the impact of the shade on the present townhomes, especially north of the project, that would be of great concern?
Yeah, as part of the city's environmental analysis, they do look at a shade shadow analysis. So that'll be part of the city's environmental document.
Oh, that hasn't been done yet?
It has been created, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been created, but it's being analyzed and will be included in the city's overall environmental document.
And just to answer just to supplement that, Ron, we've performed our own shadow studies. The city will perform their own as part of their environmental analysis, as Eric said. And if you want, I can share my screen again and show you the results of that. It does, basically, given the angle of the site, there are, the shadow studies take place during the, during the equinox, and then as well as the summer solstice and the winter solstice. And so the study looks at it at 9 a.m., noon, and at 3 p.m. And there are, outside of the winter solstice, there at 3 p.m., there are, no 3 p.m. shadows that go across North Capitol to the homes on the northern side. And because of the angle of the site, the shadow impacts to the Creekside townhomes to our south are also minimal. And those will be published in the city's environmental document as well.
Okay, thank you.
I see your hand, Jariah, but there's two people in front of you. So Wally, do you have a question or
Yes,
statement?
ma'am.
Go ahead.
I've heard all kinds of horrible stories about median income and that kind of garbage in this, in other discussions. Okay, what is the rent or lease on the least expensive unit you're going to have?
We base our rents right now, Wally, on, just in terms of what, this is just to set the stage. This project, if we break ground at the end of 2022, wouldn't, it's a 2-year construction period. So in terms of figuring out what the rents are, we look at surrounding properties to see what they're renting for. And so, it's for market rate projects, in the surrounding neighborhood, we see studio rents starting in the mid 2000s, 1 bedrooms in the 3,000, and 2 bedrooms in the high 35 to 3,700. And the moderate rents that we'd be looking at for the 18 units would be basically a few hundred below those levels. There are prescribed rents for the moderate, there are rent levels that are set by the city and the county. And so for studios, those would be, I want to say, around 2,400, and for the ones around 2,800, and the twos around 3,100. So in the case of 2 bedrooms, $500-600 less than studios, and ones, $100 to $300 less.
Okay. Prasanna.
Okay, great. Thank you. I quickly wanted to ask either one of you. So you said you got a lot of experience. You built a lot of these kinds of units. What are you bringing? What is a special feature you're doing for the environment? Is there something that you're doing to for either like solar energy or something about using less water? Is there anything that you as a builder are doing to save the environment and the earth?
Sure, the project will definitely employ green building techniques. All of our projects that we have built are Green Point rated, Green Point certified. We will be achieving a Green Point certification here as well. The Green Point rating, if you don't know, is the leading rating agency for multifamily homes here in the Bay Area. You've probably heard of LEED, which applies more to commercial buildings. Green Point rated is the kind of the leading Bay Area agency for multifamily in the Bay Area, and our projects have typically received a Green Point rating of silver, and that's achieved through a basically through a combination of building techniques, location, low plumbing fixtures. So we are building a very energy efficient building, And we will, part of the other requirements is we'll be exceeding the Title 24 Cal Green requirements. In order to be Greenpoint rated, you must exceed the state requirements, which are the highest in the country, by a certain requirement. So the projects we've built in the Bay Area to date, and including in San Jose, have all reached that level of certification. We would aim to do so here as well.
Okay, thank you. Jariah.
Oh yeah, so I just wanted to ask when the public comment was in the future, because I understand some folks might have to leave after this. So where can we see you guys again, or where can we leave more comments? Like, what's the next meeting or next time we can chat?
Well, in terms of public comments on the city's environmental document, that exact time frame isn't known yet. But the city planning department, I'm sure, will work with Council Member Cohen's office to get word out that that document is available for review and that the public comment period is open. And we would expect that to happen in the spring, in the early spring, coming up in the next couple of months.
And I see some.
Oh, good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Scott.
I'm sorry, Linda. I just noticed some. If we were, I noticed some questions in the chat, and I was just going to touch on those briefly. Will the project require funds for neighborhood parks? Yes, there is a city park fee that is I don't have the exact number, but it's the project, not including the affordable housing fee, will pay approximately $10 million in city planning and impact fees. A few million of that is dedicated to parks. The project will, also has to meet the city's requirements for private and common open space. And then are the parking spots for compact cars? We do have compact spaces in the development, but most of the spaces are standard spaces. And we do have some tandem spaces in the garage, but and the architect can correct me, but I don't believe we are counting those as part of the 364. So that would be an additional space.
Mm-hmm. Lorraine has a question, and that's going to be the last one because we have one more presentation tonight before we leave. So Lorraine, go ahead with your question.
Okay, I'm not sure that this deserves to be the last, but I was interested in knowing what sort of a presentation the buildings will make on North Capitol Avenue. What will the nature of the pedestrian walkway be? Will you be putting in landscaping? Like I read this morning, the city is in bad need of trees. Will you be making the thing look good as you look at it across Capitol Avenue?
Yes, thanks for the question. So the city has a prescribed streetscape plan for North Capitol, and if you're on North Capitol today and you walk down that sidewalk, it's between an 8 and a 10-foot sidewalk. The city's prescription is for the sidewalk streetscape to be 17 feet. So the first order of businesses will be dedicating an additional 7 foot of the property to the public right of way. And then from the back of that, from the back of that new expanded sidewalk, which will include street trees, the project will be planting, it's in consultation with the city arborist for street trees. So, there will be a combination of new street trees and, and likely preserving a few of the trees that are in the streetscape right now. And that's typically worked out with the city arborist after following the project approval. But there will be new street trees planted. It's my assumption they will be London plain sycamores, which is the prescribed city street tree on some of our other projects. And it's also the species that's there now. And then from behind the back of that widened walk, there will be an additional 10 feet of landscaping. And, if I would invite anyone who's interested to go by our other projects that we built in San Jose. We do develop a rich landscape palette, some projects a little more urban and are right on the back of the sidewalk, but we have a project in Japantown that had about 10, 15 feet of rich landscaping and trees planted behind the walk. And we would expect this project streetscape to mirror that.
Great, thank you. Well, we have, well, we'll move along because there was so much interest tonight, and I'm sure working with Mr. Cohen's office, we'll be sure to, next time there's a hearing or an open discussion, we'll be back. We'll get to hear more information about what's going on and how the progress is going. So I
And we
thank you
thank
so
you
much.
for your time.
Yeah.
We thank you for your time.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
very
for
much.
being here. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Our last presentation is really basically just kind of giving us information about the proposed Highway 101 interchange at Berryessa, Mayberry area. And Ben, I don't know how to say your last name, so I'll just
Ben
call it
is fine,
Ben.
Linda. Thank you so much. And I'll keep this very brief because Alexander from Councilmember Cohen's office did a fine job of
Yeah.
describing exactly what I am here to describe to you, which is reiterating that we have a public scoping meeting in support of the 101 Mabury Berryessa Oakland Road project corridor effort. And again, I'm Ben Traposis. I'm with HNTB, and we're supporting the City of San Jose's Department of Transportation team in the development of the environmental review and design of the 101 Maybury Corridor project. So the scoping meeting that's going to be held on January 19th is really the kickoff for the environmental review process. It gives an initial opportunity for project stakeholders in the broader community, which is where you all come in, to weigh in on the project, to get as much information as you can in the very early stages of the project as it's being developed, to ensure that we're incorporating all of the interests that the community has. And I live in the north side neighborhood, so I'm just down the road from where the project's being developed. So this is your chance to weigh in at the very outset of the development of this project. And we really just wanted to get the word out to the BCAC and ensure that you all were aware of the date. I have forwarded some frequently asked questions and some background information on the project to Linda, and she can distribute it to the group. And as Alexander pointed out, I would also encourage you to get on the city's website. There's a site that addresses the project and the scoping meeting itself on the city's website, and you can get some more information there. And we're happy to come back and give a more detailed presentation as it moves forward. But I just wanted to be sure that you all were aware of the upcoming meeting, and if you were interested, to please join us.
Great, thank you. And so I'll send this to you, Ty, so that you can send it out to everybody.
Okay.
So they can,
Will do.
because it's the 19th, so next Wednesday
That's correct.
is the meeting. And it's a webinar, so we don't have to go outside. We can just sit here and listen. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for all the information that came out tonight and for participating in this general membership meeting, the first one of the year. Hopefully one of these days we'll be back in real life, and we'll get back into the community center. The next general membership meeting is February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. So that should be a nice day. And we do have a BCAC board meeting next Monday via Zoom. All right, anything further? Hearing nothing. All
Motion to
right,
adjourn.
we're all ready for that. Thank you so much, everyone, for
All right.
coming. Happy New Year. Bye-bye now.
New Year.
Bye, everyone.
Everyone.
Janet, I may be calling you.